Oh my god. My god. Bro. So that fucking presentation, like just from beginning to the middle, it was some meh.
Yeah, it was skippable.
But by the end, bro, like we'll get to it obviously, but like that they legit held the best for last. And like I should have compiled the list, but I'm not that organized.
Yeah, but, neither am I.
I think from what I remember, the Wonder Woman trailer came out first, didn't it? I think.
No, it came out like halfway through the day.
Half in?
Yeah, it came out like sometime a little bit around Suicide Squad.
Okay.
The James Gunn one.
Either
not
way.
Not the game.
Either way, yeah. Oh, which both are. Well, I have feelings about the game, but we're pretty much gonna cover everything, all the main, the things that people tuned in for. Like we're gonna be covering all that. I actually do want to start off with Wonder Woman because this is actually our second attempt. We had a really good conversation last night.
It was fucking
But
amazing.
then the audio just said, "I'm sorry, fuck you," and try again. So now I think we should start with Wonder Woman because we kind of forgot until like the last minute in the last one. So
yeah, it was literally shoved in.
Yeah, so this time we'll start with Wonder Woman. I don't know. How do you feel about it?
Honestly, for me personally, I feel like the Blue Monday trailer, the initial trailer, was definitely a lot better than the one we got for Fandome.
It had such a better song, which was just incited so much hype for it. Like,
yeah.
Like, and then oh my god, and when she's running as a little girl, it's like. So yeah, I really do love that first trailer. This one was like, it didn't have anything. I can't even remember the song that they used. Like, so to me it was just like, okay.
I'm trying to remember actually.
It's coming out. I mean, the main thing was Chitara at the end, which, I mean, she looks great, right? She looks great, like especially when you pause it, because I feel. Especially in that slow-mo shot where she like dives at her and then Diana like grabs her by the shoulder or whatever and like slams her down and it's all slow-mo. It looks very. We just haven't gotten the physics yet. Like it looks very Black Panther in the worst way. Like it looks very rubbery and like weightless and it's like I'm not with it. Like it looks more believable. Diana swinging across lightning.
I love how you fucking brought it up because you know damn well I was gonna bring it up as a defense.
Like that shit, that looks like it's ridiculous, but it looks like it makes sense. Like that to me is just like, like that's what, and which is also it was technically in this trailer, but we first see it in the last trailer, which just added to the fucking hype of it. I'm just like, dude, like Diana can do like anything she wants, really. It was a smart decision to not have her fly, because then she really would be OP. But that ain't finna stop her from getting around.
Yeah,
lightning and all.
It's funny because like seeing the new trailer, I guess I could call it the cheetah trailer. It looked like she descended, but like that's because of her Zeus armor that Diana's wearing in there.
Yeah, which brings up the question of like what exactly, because I don't think she's wearing the armor to take on Cheetah. You know what I mean? Like that's she's very clearly gonna win that fight, no matter how strong Chitara's gotten. But I'm guessing, shit, we should actually look up his role. Yeah. But I'm guessing she's gonna take on a god, which I'm thinking it's gonna be Pascal's character. In the movie.
Yeah, Lord something.
Yeah, which we only see like one shot of him in this trailer anyway.
A couple of it's in the like same shot, him in the fucking presidential area.
Yeah, and but he points and then everything is like gets like blown, like papers flying and everything. So
yeah, I want to know what the fuck is up with that.
Yeah, I'm guessing he's gonna be the god. But let me see the official cast.
Max Lord, there we go. It literally just hit me right now. Yeah, no, like I didn't even look at your shit. It just hit me right now. Max Lord. Yeah, Maxwell.
Yeah,
Lord.
Maxwell Lord. He is playing Maxwell Lord, who will be. Is there an IMDb for him? Whatever, it doesn't matter. The point is, fuck it, we'll do it live. I think he's playing a god, and so that god is the one responsible for kind of bringing back Steve, which he's gonna be the source of comedy relief now, and I'm loving it. I'm loving that now he's the fish out of water, whereas first it was Diana like being amazed by ice cream, or you know being like why are women slaves, and you know like secretaries and shit. Like now it's gonna be Steve being like. Parachutes? Like parachute pants? Wait,
does everyone parachute now?
So yeah, I'm excited to see that dynamic go farther, and how ultimately it's gonna be tragic again because he's not making it out of this movie. So she's gonna have to lose him twice, and that's gonna be even more devastating.
You know, it would actually kind of help. You know, build that whole. I guess you could say. I don't know how to describe. Diana's character in BVS, where she was like essentially she just stoic. Yeah,
doesn't want to get involved. She only wants to get her leaked shit pretty much, because that whole movie is her pretty much trying to reclaim her leaked nudes. If you really think about it, it's her. It's like, I'm sorry, there's a photo of me going around, gotta get that shit back. There's a relic of me, nope, gotta get that shit back. So that's pretty much it's her covering her tracks in that movie. It's not about her seeing like, oh, Doomsday's out there. Like she almost didn't go. Like Doomsday's wreaking havoc, and she's like,
"Oh, fuck him.
That's not my problem. Yeah. I'm on a plane. I gotta go." But then her humanity comes.
I missed. Diana's literally. I'm sorry. I missed the part where that's my problem.
That's right. But yeah, I don't know. It looks good. I mean, I was already sold with the first trailer. I don't really need a second one. And
honestly,
this one was kind of like, all right, now we know what the cheetah bitch looks like. So there we are.
Yeah, pretty much. There's not really much to say about this new trailer besides, you know, we got new shots. Cheetah got revealed. Not only that did they start off with her being like, you know, starting off being a bit more of a
like the quirky scientist type who doesn't get all the guys.
She's and like, you know, she doesn't start off as full cheetah yet. She has like the powers and whatnot, but then we know she's gonna evolve into it later on.
It seems like she's gonna grow more confident with the more power she gets.
Yeah,
and it's gonna end up destroying her at the end, which I'm all for it. I'm all for a tragic kind of initiation to a villain.
You know, making her a bit more interesting than just, you know, 2D, mustache twirling.
Which makes sense too, especially for like, I mean, guys are like this too, but to have it be like, because the jealousy amongst females is real. So like, you have a character who isn't. I mean, look at Diana. You know what I mean? You have someone who's very godly, but as far as just like she's beautiful. She walks into a room, everyone stares, right?
Yeah, she has it all, essentially.
She has it all. And then, so now you have this nerd, pretty much, who doesn't have it all. Like, she worked hard to get where she's at. She didn't have to use her looks because she never had that advantage. You know what I mean? So she's kind of envious of that, of the glory that Diana's having. And so, no doubt, she's going to start, like, befriending her, obviously. But then it's just the jealousy is going to consume her. And so she's going to be like, you know, I want that acknowledgement. I want that power. I want that, you know, I want to be seen. God damn it.
I want to be known.
So yeah, I'm excited to see how that plays out. And hopefully they nail it, because hopefully she doesn't. I mean, does Chitara live long? I think, because hopefully they don't kill her at the end of this movie. But
I have no idea.
If they have to, I don't know. I don't know if she's immortal or not.
Yeah, all I know about Chitara is from the fucking animated series.
And all she really does is fight in that. We don't really get to know her like.
One of the only scenes that I do recall of her, like, you know, having some sort of character development is when, like, Bruce is, like, you know, laying the moves on her.
Does he?
Yeah.
What the fuck? I don't remember. Where was this?
It was in fucking, I think it was either on Unlimited or just the regular Justice League. But
okay. I think I know
you remember that one, right?
It's literally just for the mission. Like, he's just trying to come on to her for the mission. Oh, okay. Not man, Bruce.
Yeah, where he actually gets her to talk about herself to him too. Right. So that's the only like development I do recall her ever getting.
Even better, because I think visually, she's one of Wonder Woman's more well-known villains. Yeah. But the general audience doesn't know much about her. So now we're gonna get that. So I'm excited to have people actually be more familiar because I don't know much about her yet. So I want to see like what this bitch is about. Continuing on the I guess the escalation, like we're building up right to the main event. So I think the next one down that I was kind of not disappointed, but I was like, okay, it's whatever. It's really just an announcement. Was the Black Adam trailer, which we touched on briefly last time too. But I mean, it was. You asked me how I felt about it, and I was just like, it's there. It's coming out. like they didn't really. They literally just got an artist to like, hey, had like storyboard this. Like, we need some key frames here, and then we'll motion graphic the thing, and then have The Rock. Hey, can you come in for a day? You don't even have to come in. Just like record and email us that. So I mean, it's. The only thing I'll say is that at least now we have some backstory to him, to where it's like, hey, it takes place 5,000 years earlier, where it's a guy who was bestowed this power, and he was using it to fix his, what is it, Rome that he's at? Or
no, Egypt. It was Egypt.
So somewhere in Egypt, but like, I guess some of the civilization was like kind of starting to corrupt this place, and now he's like, hey, I'm doing what I have to do to like.
Is it Egypt? It's either Egypt or some fucking Babylonian type shit.
There you go. Yeah, I think that's more fitting to it. Yeah, but essentially he was using the power kind of how he wanted. Like, hey, I'm fixing shit how I see fit, and then the guy from Guardians who goes, who? That guy came in being like, I'm gonna put a stop to this, and imprisoned him, and so now he's pissed.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that's the only backstory I need. Like, so now I know what this guy's about. So, not quite an anti-hero, but just a dick. And so now now we're gonna see him. He's on a rampage.
He's like that guy, He's just that guy. He's like, you know what?
Don't be that guy.
Yeah, don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be Black Adam. Be Captain Marvel. Oh wait, I'm sorry. This is 2020. We're talking about be Shazam.
They don't name him in the movie either, so it's not like they call him Shazam.
No, they do name him.
No, they don't name him at all. In that
really?
Movie. No, he says Shazam, but then no one ever calls him Shazam.
This is true.
So, I think they're waiting on the sequel to see what can we call him.
Speaking of which, they I didn't find out until like after we were done recording that they announced the sequel to Shazam. It's called Shazam: Fury of the Gods or something like that.
Oh damn! Okay.
Yeah,
I'm with it.
Yeah.
Because honestly, what else are they gonna take on? Like they need to take on like godlike threats.
Build up to Black Adam,
especially now that there's 6 of them. Like like you have a family of kids who all are pretty much Superman. You know what I mean? They all have like Superman's abilities essentially. So you need to have a worthy adversary to actually have an interesting movie.
Yeah.
It's like, which is one of my complaints about Marvel's Captain Marvel, which is like you have Carol who can do all this shit. She's pretty much cosmic Superman, and you don't have a villain for her to go toe to toe with.
Pretty much.
Like she didn't struggle until Thanos. You know what I mean? Like he's the one that knocked that bitch out.
Yeah.
And in her own movie, she was just like no one was a threat to her. It was really just wasting time. I was like, all right, fucking come on, get on with it. Like,
yeah.
Like these 5 dudes are not gonna pose a threat to you whatsoever. She's just sitting there like, oh, wanna arm wrestle for the Tesseract? And it's like, just fucking light up and fuck them all up. Like, hurry up. This thing's already going on for 2 hours.
Not only that, but in the same movie, she literally just flies into Thanos' ship and brings it down.
Like, in Endgame, yeah, she brings it down. That's right. I'm sorry, I thought that was the Chief who did that.
I'm sorry. That's right.
I was thinking about the Russo cut.
The Russo
cut. Which I guess, speaking of, I think we should. I mean, I don't know. Any final thoughts on Black Adam or Shazam before we move on to the Snyder Cut?
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to Shazam and Black Adam. I do like the design of the suit. It doesn't look completely bland. There's a bit of like little bit of a nice design to it.
Which I'm guessing, I don't know. It can always change because again, with concept art, it's like, okay, that's
This
kind of
is
like
the starting
an
point.
overview of what he's gonna look like. But that shit can always change.
Yeah.
So but just seeing how like Billy and everyone else looked like their suits, I'm like, okay, I can pretty much visualize what Black Adam's. It's just gonna be the black version of those.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, there will still be some intricate designs, but like
Outside of that,
it's not a reveal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not a full on reveal.
Yeah.
But I do like the fact that they gave us the trailer and it was essentially them being like, hey, yeah, we still remember the movie. We still have The Rock. He's still with us. We're still working on this.
That's what I brought up the last time. It's like, bro, this guy was hired back in like 2014, like before Civil War was even a concept. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
to which
he was hired way the fuck back.
To which I will say that I will repeat exactly what I said last time. That I respect DC for having the balls to drop a slate when they made one movie. I swear to God,
a slate that they did not stick to whatsoever
at all, at fucking all.
Oh man, I mean that goes back to that whole issue, right? That they were really just trying to catch up to Marvel, like, because you have to remember at the time they were letting Nolan finish his trilogy, and so when The Dark Knight Rises came out, it was the same year that Avengers came out. So yeah, it was 2012. Yeah, it was 2012. Man of Steel didn't come out until 2013.
Yeah,
so it was after.
Because I remember, like, after we graduated, I literally went, like, same day I was still wearing that tux for graduation.
Yeah, they didn't start
I went to go watch fucking Man of Steel.
In your tux?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, because I was super extra that day for graduation. Why not?
You were ready for this movie. You were like, ooh, finally, a good Superman movie.
Right?
And boy, were you mistaken.
Was I mistaken? I was baited by the words, executive producer, Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, he didn't have shit to do with that film, and it turns out. Well, it's not a... We shouldn't open up that Pandora's box. But I feel that... But yeah, I mean, just looking at the timeline, it's like, look, they didn't start production until Nolan was done, right?
Yeah.
So then we get a Man of Steel. By that point, you're already behind. And so I think in a perfect world, they should have just done these movies instead of just trying to do a Justice League, right?
Yeah.
Because that was the ultimate failure of like, hey, you rushed into this and nobody turned out to see it. You know what I mean? It was like the lowest performing out of all of them, out of your BVS, out of your Man of Steel, out of your Wonder Woman. Like no one cared. Like, you didn't set this up properly. No one was invested like they are with the MCU. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
plus you literally, like, with Superman, you literally did the Iron Man's Endgame where he fucking dies in the second movie he's in.
He dies too soon. We don't get enough time with him to really feel the impact. You know, Iron Man dies until a decade into his run. You know what I mean? Like, we've seen him for like and it's 7 not even some crap movies, like, and
it, like, canonically it's already been well over a decade, because it's like, what, 15 years since he started?
Yeah, technically the 5-year jump. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I don't know, that whole thing was just poorly handled, and I like that at least now we're
still talking about, Man of Steel, not Endgame, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's right, yeah. And Endgame was yeah. I mean,
Endgame was not poorly handled.
We all know that's a good movie, but. No, just Justice League itself was poorly handled, and even with the behind the scenes stuff aside, like, regardless of whether or not Snyder had like a family tragedy or not, the movie would have still been rushed. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, and the way they handled it, which we touched on yesterday, was that whether or not it was like the right thing to do would have been to halt production. Yeah, and we used. Paul Walker as an example. Like, when
perfect example, actually.
When he died, they couldn't continue the movie, so they stopped, and everyone went off to do their own things. And then months later, they came back. It's like, hey, with the family, is this cool if we continue? Like, there's a way we can do it, and we can ceremoniously
send him off.
Like, send him off. Like, close his chapter of this thing. And the brothers are like, hey, when do you need me? Like, I'll fill in for him. Like, they happen to look alike. Yeah. So, like, they they came in and helped with the last of the shots, because he was like 75% done with that movie. So like that's an example of how you handle it both professionally and morally, where it's like, hey, we have to stop, and then months later, enough time goes, everyone grieves, they get it, you know, they cope the way they can. You get the family's blessing, and then they somehow manage to get everyone back, not just the cast but also the crew, and then they finish the thing, as opposed to you need to take a break, you need to step down because you know your daughter died. That's cool. Yeah, go ahead.
Cool. Bring in the Avengers guy.
Yeah, bring in the Avengers guy. Hey,
we're trying to get an Avengers. What's his name?
What's his name?
Jack.
Josh.
Jack.
Josh.
John?
With
John?
a C with an SH. Hey, you make funny shit, right? We need this to be funny now.
People don't like the serious, so we need to funny it up in here.
Yeah. Hey, that guy's gone. Hey, can you also stick to the deadline? You know, you're not creating a new movie from scratch. You're gonna build off of what was shot, and you're gonna get this done in time for our Christmas bonuses. Alright, so that's how it's gonna be.
Do reshoots if you have to. I don't give a shit. I just need my bonus.
Yeah, that thing was just whole. I mean, which is why a lot of those people were let go ultimately after that disaster, because one, it was bad. It was bad press, right? Because we all knew about the bonuses thing. It was bad press, but also it was just bad performance. Like, hey, your movie didn't perform. You didn't make your money back. So, you know, you underperformed. Get out. Yeah, we're gonna get new guys coming in.
Not only that, but it was originally going to be like 2 hours and 35 minutes, but then they cut 35 minutes from it just to get a 2 hour runtime, so they could have play it more, you know, more theaters, replays, more tickets. Funny how that worked out.
Yeah, ain't nobody wanted to see that shit again. It's like, I mean, yeah, the whole thing was mishandled, and it's such a great underdog story that now we're getting the movie that was intended. So it's like, hey, he was persistent with it. He had the audience backing him up. Mm-hmm. You know, those. Say what you will about the DC, you know, fanboys, but they did right by him on this one. You know what I mean? Like, they were consistent, and then it helps when you have the director on your side.
Yeah. Plus, you know, there was a whole,
you know, teasing and posting shit and.
But also, let's be real here. The Snyder Cut would have never happened if it wasn't for the quarantine.
Yeah,
honestly,
it was a perfect storm of events to where it's like WB couldn't produce anything new, and here you have this thing in the vault that's pretty much finished. All you need is a coat of CG, and it's like, hey, we'll give you $20 million, and that's the money we can make back on subscriptions alone.
And so the beautiful thing about it, it's literally over 4 hours of material that you can work with.
That's the thing that made me laugh. Like when he announced on like that Zoom call or whatever, when he announced that it's gonna be 4 parts, an hour each, and then at the end you'll get the full movie. I'm like, that was definitely an HBO Max decision.
Yeah,
like,
that was
like,
Warner Brothers. That was. Like, that's corporate as fuck.
It's like, hey, we're gonna give you your movie. You know, no restrictions. Do whatever you want, for better or worse. You're gonna make your movie the way you want, but you're gonna give us what we want, which is, you know, a monthly subscription. Which I don't think they're gonna release it every month. I think that would be too much.
Yeah, that would be too
but
much.
For sure, they'll
at least
do it
bi-weekly would be nice.
Which, I mean, even then is pushing it, but I think.
Yeah, but it's just enough to, you know, make people be like, fuck, can't wait for more.
I think they'll most likely do it.
That's how you get it. At least that's how you can milk at least 2 months from this.
True, but something tells me they're gonna only do it for a month. I think they'll only do it like once a week. But who knows? It could be yours. It could be the bi-weekly thing. So we'll see how it goes. But I mean, as far as the trailer itself, I mean, because I mean now we've moved on to that, which is the Snyder Cut. Which it's crazy.
It's a really great trailer, and it got me hyped.
And it shows. What's funny to me is that it shows scenes that we saw in the earlier trailers, like Cyborg playing football, or even him as, you know, in the suit, or you know, tackling that truck, right, to save that dude. Like, so we see shots that we've seen before, but that were ultimately cut from the WB cut, right? Because I don't even believe that was Joss's movie. You know what I mean? Like, say, like, you're talking about the guy who made the first Avengers movie, who really put the MCU on the map. Like, if he were to have his own Justice League movie, like, he would not have done what we saw in the theatrical cut. So
pretty much.
So
I mean, you could also, like, you know, I can already hear people be like, oh yeah, but he also brought us Age of Ultron. But you do realize he was forced to make that farm scene, like, as a compromise. Like, he got the farm scene a compromise of, you know, forcing in the Infinity Gauntlet storyline.
Yeah, which I love the farm scene. Like, I think Age of Ultron is really when you started to notice, like, you know, not Disney, but like, you know, the executives' interference in those things.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we're building to a bigger universe. We need the Infinity Stones in here. We need a mention of this. You know, we need
not
Thor
only need
to
this,
go on a Vision quest.
Which, you know, that original version of Ragnarok never fucking happened. Which I'm glad that we got what we got, because that is so much better.
Yeah, in retrospect,
so much more
it's like
fun.
What he was, like, you know, hallucinating in the hot tub is shit that we never, like,
does not fucking
of a movie
matter at all.
Of a movie that doesn't matter because it was never made. So,
yeah.
So I mean, you know, it's funny the way those things work. But as far as this itself, like, I think my favorite shot from the trailer would be the
Flash running.
Yeah, it would be Flash, because that just, it brings up, it answers questions while also bringing up, like, oh shit, he's actually doing something. You know what I mean? Like, because if you notice, an explosion goes off, and then, like, everything becomes still around him. So he kind of gets forced into the speed force of it, or forced it, whatever. God damn it. Whatever, it's triggered. Let's say that it's triggered, and he's kind of looking around like, what's going on? But then he's like, the explosion is coming for your ass. So he has no choice but to run. So he starts doing that, and you see, like, the debris falling, like, beneath him, and you see him, like, kind of, it almost looks like he's running through the cosmos, because, like, reality is
starting to warp,
getting blown out of existence. So he's just running to get out of it, and it reminds me of the scene when they did it in the Flash, because in an earlier crossover of the CW shows, like, it was a similar thing where I think you had, like, the Hawks involved and all these things, but an explosion gets triggered, right?
Yeah.
From, like, an ancient relic or whatever, and all his friends die. But before, you know, it has one of the most iconic lines in the CW show is, you know, run, Barry, run. And I think right before that goes off, Oliver, I think, turns to him, and he's like, you know, like, as he's about to die, he's like, run, Barry, run. And so he's like, he's gunning it, and he's like crying, and it's very emotional as he's like kind of outrunning this thing just so he can run back in time. And so I think that's going to play into this movie, whereas we may not have the emotional impact, you know, as opposed to having seasons of these characters. We're only going to have an hour.
Yeah.
But I think that will trigger the plot of, like, hey, maybe they tried to go up against Steppenwolf without Superman, and they ultimately die. And so then Flash, you know, accidentally runs, like, 5 hours back in time, and he's looking all confused, and everyone's looking at him like, what's wrong, Barry? And he's just like, oh, we fucked up. we fucked up. And the only guy who believes him is Bruce,
because he's had that experience before, where the Flash, you know, appeared to him before in that, in what's considered a dream sequence, but not really, because of the papers that fly, you know, end up flying about when he wakes up.
Yeah, exactly.
From that aftermath.
So with having Bruce being like, hey, recalling his experience in the last movie, him being the one that has Barry's back, then you can have him be like, okay, so clearly what we were about to do doesn't pan out. We're going to need the big guy. Like, we're going to need Superman on this. And then maybe that triggers that subplot of, like, hey, we need to resurrect them. Like, we need him. In order for this to work, we need to be fully united. Like, all of us. Which, I'm curious if we will ever see that seventh member of that old marketing quote of
unite the seven.
Yeah, unite the seven, and there's only ever 6 of those fucks. So it's like, I'm thinking it's gonna be a Green Lantern.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we'll see him in this movie.
Personally, my bet if it is a Green Lantern, because that's been like a Green Lantern's been teased at the beginning of Justice League when Diana's giving I believe Barry or Bruce the backstory of the mother boxes. Mm-hmm. You see the fucking lantern ring itself. You see a lantern die and then the ring flies off.
Which is kind of funny too if you think about it, because it's like, oh, so the ring. Normally it's instant, from the storyline that we know. But if you're going to do that for this movie, it's like, oh, so what? The ring just thought no one was worthy, and so it decided to wait 2,000 some years until Hal Jordan or Jon Stewart or whoever gets it. Like, it decides to just wait an eternity until landing on someone. Like, come on now.
Yeah, right.
But I don't know. I hope dude, I was telling you, like, if we see a 7th leaguer in this, it'll be great, right? It'll be dope no matter what.
Honestly.
But if I was Zach, you know how I am.
So
if I was Zach,
your petty ass
if I was Zach, I would purposefully end this movie on a cliffhanger and force them to give me a sequel.
Fucking whip it on the fucking desk right there, like. What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah,
you gave me the Snyder cut.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Now give me the Snyder sequel.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Put it away from me? Like, no. Absolutely. I hope it ends that way. Because now it's like, with the Snyder Cut, we're also getting the Flashpoint movie.
Yeah.
So that's clearly a continuation to where we're getting Ezra back, obviously. But
not only Ezra, but we're also getting Affleck back.
Yeah, we're getting Batfleck back. So clearly the DCFU is going to continue, but you're still doing these other spin-offs and like set in Elseworlds and whatever you want to call them. But so it brings up the question of like, well, shit, if this goes well and people love it, are you going to continue? Like, are you going to do the second part? Like, are you going to give us the movie that we wanted to see in the first place? So I don't know. I think
it's all up in the air right now.
Yeah.
Honestly, but the fact that we're getting the Snyder Cut now during this whole multiverse
craziness,
it's kind of a sign. Like, maybe they finally have something put together for once.
Hopefully. I mean, we'll see.
In all honesty,
I still like the idea that, or not the idea, the approach that they're taking now, which is like, hey, we tried to catch up and it blew up in our face. Now let's do a Shazam. Let's do a Joker. Let's do
Aquaman.
Let's
Wonder
do
Woman.
The Batman. Like all these things. Like let's just make movies that the directors want to make,
and stories that not only need to be told.
Yeah.
But they aren't reliant on.
They're not tied to anything.
Yeah, they're not tied to anything. They're not reliant on pre-existing storylines or pre-established characters. You could always have a fresh start with something new.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I mean, just on the, who knows? Maybe years from now they'll make a documentary about this experience, because I mean it's one hell of an underdog story of like,
honestly,
hey, he had a family tragedy, but then he stayed persistent. Shit happened behind the scenes within the studios. People were let go. People were new people came in and they gave Zach a chance. The Rona happened. So because I don't think we can call it by its name, or else we'll get taken down. So we'll just call it the Rona. So the Rona happened, and now it's like, hey, it was Disney Plus was a thing. So then, which forced Warner Brothers to launch their streaming service of Max. Mm-hmm. And hey, what better place to launch this Snyder Cut as opposed to in the Max or in the streaming service.
And speaking of streaming services, you remember how they tried doing the whole DC universe? Like,
whatever happened to that? Because now it's all on Max, right?
I was about to say, okay, it all got on Max, but then they removed some stuff to put onto Universe. But in the end, it was kind of pointless because, based on rumors that I've read and heard, is they're absorbing the DCU verse or whatever into HBO Max, because that technically has everything. So why not just give more people more reason to subscribe to HBO Max.
Are they charging? Are they charging more for it? Like
no,
$2,
it's all being part of it.
$2 to get the DC package.
No, that DC package is like fucking gone. It's because it's its own thing in fucking HBO Max now.
I mean, already there was reports that it underperformed. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it didn't get as many subscribers as like Disney Plus or anything. But it came out long before Disney anyway. The DC.
They had like a
universe.
year on Disney Plus.
Well, because what they put out was Titans. You know what I mean? So it's like, on paper we thought it was a good idea. We were like, oh shit, a live action Titans movie, and you can do whatever, and it's gonna be, you know, bloody, and people are gonna get hurt. But then you see the final,
Batman.
You see the final product, and it's the most. It literally looks like a 14-year-old tried to make this edgy, cool shit, but just.
Titans is literally I'm 14 and this is the movie.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because it's like wow, way to have no grasp on what these characters are and how you should make them. Like, you literally just thought just because you're edgy doesn't mean you're cool. You know what I mean? And especially when it's all like weightless. So I don't know. And also you can't have characters like Starfire and just have her be on the ground 24/7. You know what I mean? Like, that bitch needs to fly. She needs to actually demonstrate her abilities. Like,
and her whole shtick in, like, you know, one of my favorite cartoons of all time, which is the original Teen Titans Run, which is coming back, mind you.
It was gonna come back on
No. It is coming back.
No, it was supposed to come back on Disney's, on DC streaming service.
Yeah.
But now we're just gonna get it on HBO Max, I guess. Cause,
yeah. You know. I think it's coming out first on Adult Swim, like the same way they brought back Samurai Jack, where it's gonna get like a more mature final season.
Okay, I'm all for it.
Yeah, honestly,
I mean, like, Star Wars did that, so the Clone Wars got its final season.
Yeah, and that shit was like the darkest Clone War, like the most fucked up and the most emotionally gripping Clone Wars has ever been.
I think, not that they're gonna redo it now, but if they continue down the line of like, hey, we're getting Suicide Squad, right? Mm-hmm. Which is another redemption arc in and of itself.
Yeah.
But I hope if they continue down that path of like, hey, let's make a Blue Beetle movie. Let's make
I would kill
whatever
for a Blue Beetle movie.
Well, let's see what we can do. Like I hope in time we do get like a true Titans adaptation.
Oh my god, yes.
Because that's just full of potential. You know, that, like having characters like Grayson and Starfire and Raven. Like, the fact that you have Raven in your series and you can't. Oh my god, I saw like the CGI they used for like Trigon. And he's just walking down like a farm, and it's just like, I'm like, wow, y'all really weren't ready to make this show. Like, like he's the most like Spawn looking CG effect that you've ever seen, and he's just walking through.
No.
He's just walking through the farmland, and I'm just like, wow. And they only do him for an episode because that's all they could afford. So, and then they moved on to Deathstroke, where it's like, hey, let's have a guy who doesn't have abilities, right? Let's, he doesn't have a CG budget to his power set. But anyway, what were we talking about before we were complaining about Titans? No, Justice League, right?
Yeah, I was about to say, like, this all, funnily enough, this all stems back to, their original tutors, the Justice League.
Yeah.
Multiverse.
I don't know. What are you most? Because I'm just interested. I'm interested to see how this all plays out, like, together.
Honestly, yeah.
Because it's like both what's gonna happen in the movie and then after, like whether or not he does a cliffhanger. But like, it's interesting to see how these deleted scenes will fit in the movie because
not only how they fit, but how they will end up playing out. Like we've seen them all separate, but like we have to see them all like the way that he wanted to in their like respective places. Because
the deleted scene of Barry saving Iris was its own, like, that was released already. I think probably for the Blu-ray, but
probably.
But that was already, like, we've seen that. So now to see it in the trailer, like with fully like rendered and with the car flipping in the background and everything, like we see it in context, and it's like, well, not in context, but we see it in full, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, okay, so it looks great. So legit, those $20 million are being used well. Like it's literally just used as airbrush to fix up the missing pieces of this movie.
Yeah.
So I'm all for it. I can't wait to see the final product. I mean, people on Reddit have already said it's like, hey, for whether if it's good or bad, it looks like a Zack Snyder movie.
Yeah.
Like it like
take that as you will.
Yeah,
but
take
it
as
looks
you will.
like a Zack Snyder movie.
So we're gonna see this thing in full context at the very end, and we'll see if it's good or not.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, hey, from what we got, the theatrical cut, I mean, there's nowhere else to go but up. So
yeah,
like I can't imagine this being worse than what we got before. I just can't.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's my exact thought when I was watching the trailer. It's like, holy shit, this looks so much better as a single unified vision, not two conflicting visions, and well, three in reality, because you got Snyder, Whedon, and the execs, the suits.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's like, playing out the way it's supposed to play out, scenes are being played exactly when they need to, and shit is going the way that it was intended to.
Yeah.
It looks so much better, and I love that shit when people have they get to do what they wanted to do.
And this is coming from two like MCU fanboys.
Yeah.
Like this is coming from Marvelites. You know what I mean? Like here we are like praising this thing, and we want it to succeed.
Honestly. Okay, no, you first.
Like we want it to succeed because if it's good, if it's better, then we want to see more of it. You know what I mean? Like we both.
It breeds healthy competition for not only DC but for Marvel. With healthy competition, you get amazing products because both companies are being pushed, to be like, do better.
I mean, hell, even from the fandom event itself, like. I'm interested to see now how Marvel responds to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're going to be like, oh, we need to put something together now. Like, we need to, you know what I mean? But this is literally perfect because a lot of these projects were already in production, and Marvel was finishing up Black Widow, right? So, and they were barely starting on Eternals, but everything's been halted.
Yeah. They were barely starting on Eternals.
Yeah, because there were set photos and stuff.
Not even 5% of it.
There were set photos and everything, but like everything else hadn't started yet. So now, and then the Rona hits, and it's like, well, crap, like we can't really do much now.
We don't have anything.
Whereas Warner Brothers had so many things already done, like Wonder Woman, Tenet, James Bond. Like they had all these things already. Like, wait, is James Bond Warner Brothers? I think so. Right?
No, it's Metro Golden Mayer or whatever.
Okay, well,
MGM.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, so
yeah, it's a completely different company.
Okay, well, regardless, they have stuff like Tenet and whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like they had stuff in the can and stuff that we want to see. Whereas Disney, they're doing that whole thing with like Mulan. So I mean, we talked about that in the last one. That one will go up. So we'll see how that plays out with Mulan. But
yeah,
I mean, as far as this, I mean. Perfect storm of events. You have your HBO Max, you have your Snyder Cut, you have the demand. Now you're gonna supply it. It's like so let's see how it all works out. Any final thoughts on the Snyder Cut?
Shit, honestly, all I have to say is essentially just like the same exact thing I've been saying is like not only will this breed healthy competition and get both companies to push each other to do better, but in the end the real winners out of all of this are the fans, are us fans, because we get amazing products.
We get to consume all this, and honestly,
there is no better time to be alive than right now, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean the MCU, when Iron Man came out, it really did. Those movies really did change the landscape.
Yeah.
They really did turn geek culture into pop culture. So now we're in a position where all this is common. Like now you have girls who or not girls. Now you have like I should say
people.
No. Now you have thoughts who know who Groot is, who know what Thanos is about. You know what I mean? Now you have, back in our day, jocks who know what they have now like Thanos t-shirts as they're working out. You know what I mean? Like they're
or
all about
fucking,
they know what the snap is. They know what it means. They know about the stones. Like so now you have an audience who's more well equipped to handle movies like the Spider-Verse, right? Like movies like no one's going to be confused as to well, I'm sure you'll have some confusion here and there. Yeah. But overall, I think people understand with actors' faces, it's like, okay, Ben Affleck is still Batman in these movies, but now Robert Pattinson is a different Batman in this different movie, right?
And it looks completely different than what
it looks
we
different.
got.
It looks different. It's not stylized or anything. It looks very different. So they're clearly set in different, film, like film verses or whatever. So that is like the audience has been trained well enough so that now we can get movies like Flashpoint, which I guess should be the next one that we talk about.
Because
now they're ready for it.
It's natural. I mean, technically, it also kind of leads in from Justice League to Flashpoint with what you were bringing up, which is definitely one of our favorites, like a shared favorite scene of ours from the trailer. Mm-hmm. The way
where he's running.
Yeah, the way he's running. Like for me, one of the reasons why I love it is because it's straight up Flashpoint from the animated movie Flashpoint, where he's outrunning Oblivion.
Mm-hmm. And I think he'll do it by accident in this movie, and then he'll learn how to do it for his movie. And so naturally, the first thing he's gonna try to do is go back and save his mom.
Yeah.
Not realizing that by doing that, you kill Bruce, and you make
it's a
Thomas
whole butterfly
Wayne's,
effect.
Yeah, it's a whole butterfly effect, like
fucking up everything.
Like, whether or not they make Michael Keaton Thomas Wayne, or if they keep him as an alternate Bruce, like I don't know what the hell they're gonna do.
Funny thing about that, I'm sure, I'm pretty sure we talked about this last night, but like the key art that they used for Flashpoint was a Flash in front of Batman, but not
Michael
just
Keaton's
any.
Batman.
Yeah, Michael Keaton's Batman,
the '80s Batman, which is crazy to think because it's like, bro, that dude is like what 70.
Yeah,
and you're old
as hell.
You're gonna put his ass in a suit, like you're gonna put him in a Vulture suit is one thing.
Yeah,
Birdman is another. But like you're seriously gonna put him in a bat suit, you know what I mean? where he has to go about and
kick ass.
Fight, yeah, kick ass alongside the fastest man alive. So I don't know how they're gonna play that out, but
it's just gonna be Barry pushing him on a wheelchair.
Full force, just like speed all throughout that. Oh man, it'll be that Transformer scene where it's Megan Fox, but instead it's Barry. It's like I drive, you shoot. It's just chucking batarangs. Hey, whatever they do, I'm all for it. But I do think that because obviously it's gonna be a very different Flashpoint than what we're used to.
Yeah.
So, but in the adaptation, he spends all his time in just one alternate reality. So that's what makes me think that they might just make Michael Keaton older Thomas Wayne as a Batman.
I believe it, to be honest.
I would much prefer if they bring back, the Winchester's dad, and they bring back what's his name? Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yeah, that's
if they bring him back to be that dimension's Batman. You know what I mean?
To be Thomas Wayne.
Because hell, you cast him. Zach cast him as Thomas Wayne. Have him continue to be Thomas Wayne, but now he gets to put on a batsuit.
And you have Lauren, who was Martha, come back as
the Joker of that one. Yeah.
Because in the books, Martha and Thomas are both Joker and Batman respectively. Yeah. Because as a result of Bruce dying in Crime Alley instead of them.
Which I love those storylines. I love those what ifs where it's like, hey, what if Bruce died and that alley? How would that tragically mess up Thomas and Martha? But I think we'll get like a touch of that at most as far as this movie. So we'll get a touch. But the rest of the movie, how it plays out, I wouldn't be surprised if we see 3 of these fuckers in the thing, like 3 different Batman.
Honestly, can you just imagine if fucking Jeffrey Dean Morgan just comes back as a cameo as
Michael
Thomas?
Keaton, Jeffrey, Batfleck,
that would be insane.
Christian Bale would never do it. He'd be like, He's definitely a guy who doesn't understand like comic book movies and like multiverses. He'd be like, "What
the fuck, Mike?
It's like, what do you ask? Like,
what are you bloody on?"
He'd be yelling at his agent like, "Why?"
I don't know why I turned him British instead of Australian.
Yeah. He'd be yelling at his publicist like, "Why did you let them in here? Like, what? Yeah, get them out of my fucking house." He literally, what the fuck are you doing?
I am so glad you.
Yeah, Christian Bale, he wouldn't do that shit.
No.
So, I mean, who knows how this movie will play out? But I'm all for it. Flash is getting a new suit that's been made by Batfleck, so they're very much doing that Iron Man thing of like, hey, the billionaire is designing and creating all these things. So
a much more form-fitting and a much more comic-accurate suit. A Flash suit.
From the looks of it, I mean, it's subject to change because I think the concept art is just that concept art because most of that thing is in silhouette. Like he's mainly in shadow. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you don't really see the details of the suit. So they're still working on it. But I believe it. But whatever they get, I mean, as long as it's sleeker, I'm all for it. So he'll look dope.
It's funny that like we talk about this new suit because this is one of the new things that I wanted to talk about. That I noticed as like I guess you could say connection to the Crisis on Infinite Earths event when Ezra Miller's Flash cameos with fucking.
Right. I forgot about that. He showed up in the CW. That's right.
Yeah, he showed up in the CW, and he's like, "Oh, that looks nice. I like your suit. That looks nice.
It looks comfortable."
It looks comfortable.
He's like, I love how they're both so impressed by each other's suit, and they're like, what a great like fun scene. Like that just goes to show how great it is to have all your characters under the same company because you can do those crossovers. Like. They did something that Marvel would never do, which is like crossing over your Netflix shows with your whatever Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show with your MCU shows, right? Your MCU movies, right? Yeah. And here Warner Brothers is like, nah, we'll do it. Yeah. Hey Ezra, what are you done with those Fantastic Beast movies? Yeah. Come on in, we're gonna shoot something. What a great, and apparently because of that scene, so it'll have an impact because
that's exactly what I wanted to bring up too. Yeah, I'm glad we're on the same page.
Because Grant is like, oh, you're another Flash, and he's like, Flash, what the, and then he says it again, like he's liking that. He's like, Flash, huh? Flash. It's like he likes the way it sounds. So because of that, him meeting another one in this movie, he will begin to call himself the Flash. Yeah, which I was just like, mwah, perfect. Like what, and you don't even have to address it. Like for people who didn't see the crossover, it can literally be like he did a test run and he ended up in another dimension with another Flash, and that's where he got the name. You know what I mean? It could be a throwaway line, and because he's been practicing how to do the run to go back and save his mom, so he's been practicing, and in one of those attempts.
He bumps into Grant.
He went into another dimension, and he learned a lot of shit. So yeah. I mean, it's great. It's great, and it's a great way to have him call himself. Yeah. That the Flash now. So I just
I love the fact that this is technically fucking canon now.
It is, yeah.
This is genuinely canon now.
It's officially canon. Once you open up those doors of like, hey, different worlds, anything goes. Yeah. The DCFU, the CW verse, it all exists in the same,
it's all connected.
Multiverse or whatever they're going to call it. Yeah, isn't it crazy how we talked more about The Flash than we did Black Adam? Yeah. And yet, theoretically, Black Adam showed us more. But, I mean, that just goes to show, like, the director's comments as far as what he shared about the movie, which, those two It movies, they're solid. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're great movies. Like, he can deliver on the spectacle. So I'm all,
which I do love that now that you brought it up that he's directing Flashpoint. It also it just brought me back to how the sequel It Part 2 started getting a little bit more cosmic, a little bit more trippy. Yeah. I'm like, You know what? I can see it now.
This thing came from space. It was very...
Came from space. And there was, like, that one scene where it was, like, it zoomed out from a puzzle piece. We, like, you know, the camera went underneath where, like, this puzzle was being built. It was, like, a little puzzle piece. And then it got farther away. And then became, like, a star.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm all for that type of shit.
The only thing we didn't get was the turtle, which I'm kind of disappointed. In the book, there is, you know, the everlasting, like, omnipotent turtle who's always the force for good, fighting the... Anyway, we're not about to talk about Stephen King stuff, but...
Yeah, that's a whole...
But he's great.
Can of worms.
He writes some good stuff. But yeah, Flash, I'm excited to see the trailer and how it's going to blow everyone's minds. Because no doubt, the way you end that trailer is by having Michael Keaton and Batfleck in the same room. Like, that's how you do it.
Pretty much. Or just have it end on fucking Michael Keaton turning around.
Like full torso.
Yeah,
like he still can't move his neck.
You know, make that shit meta.
Yeah, that's right. That's it, huh? Really? 50 years and you still haven't figured this out, huh? Oh man, I'm all for it. I don't know what. Suicide Squad's next?
Suicide Squad.
Bro, they didn't even do a trailer. All they did was a roll call, and I was excited. Like,
yeah, the real trailer was the fucking behind the scenes shit, which I still haven't seen yet for some reason.
Oh, it's so good. I'll send you the link. It's really good.
Yeah, I have to watch it like once we're done with this. But like the fucking roll call trailer itself was just
the roll call is so good because I didn't even know everyone who was in this movie. And so when it got to John Cena, I was like, wait a minute. But then you see him in this ridiculous, like, metallic helmet of his. And I'm just like, oh, this is going to be something special. Like, this is going to...
No, like, not only from fucking John Cena. You bring in Polka Dot Man.
Polka Dot Man?
Immediately. Like, he's one of the first ones that's introduced.
It's the Frenchie from Ant-Man as Polka Dot Man.
The Baba Yaga guy.
And he just looks so ridiculous, and it's like they're embracing it. It's like, who are these? Is this I guess it's technically in the DC FU, right? Because you have the same Harley.
Yeah, as much as we know,
and you have Boomerang, and you
DC.
have Boomer.
Yeah, Boomer.
You have
I will never
Rick
live that down.
Yeah, you have Rick Flag in there. So which just makes it even funnier. So can you imagine Batfleck beating the shit out of Polka Dot Man and Weasel and all these guys and throwing them into Arkham like a very buff, serious, like bloodthirsty Batman, like strangling fucking Weasel.
Fucking crackhead
Rocket. Like, oh my god, that like it just makes it funnier. Like, you only have like two cool characters in there, which is Idris Elba with his suit and Harley Quinn with the Arkham red and black.
Yeah.
You know, so, and everyone else looks stupid. Like, they just look over the top, ridiculous. Like, even King Shark just looks like cartoonish as hell. Like,
it's straight up the Harley Quinn.
Yeah, it's the
Shark.
Harley Quinn cartoon Queen
Queen
Shark.
Yes.
As it's just biting heads off. You have Queen Shark.
And I love, like, when they reveal King Shark, he has a beer belly.
Yeah, he has a gut. So he has a gut. So clearly he likes to eat. So but you know what I love too? That they made him the same size as everyone else. He's not big. If anything, he's probably shorter than Idris Elba. Like in the roll call, he's like barely 5'9".
That's about my height.
So
Holy shit.
So I'm just like, wow, y'all embracing the comic book accuracy, huh?
Yeah.
But yeah, that still kills me how you have. I mean, it adds to the humor, right? Because I'm guessing this is largely going to be a comedy.
Oh yeah, this is going to be a straight up comedy.
It's funny to me how you have the CW's King Shark look better than Warner Brothers live action.
Said.
He looks better. He looks more threatening. He just looks more realistic somehow. And I'm just like, wow, y'all embracing the cartoonishness, huh? Which is all gun. Like, I mean,
yeah,
I think
it's all gun. That's
we even talked about this. It's like, this is this is the Guardians movie without Disney's oversight. He's doing
balls
whatever
to the wall.
he made Rocket look disgusting.
Yeah,
and his name is now Weasel. Like he's doing
and
whatever.
He has his brother, Weasel.
Yeah,
again.
Nepotism at its best. Like it's like, hey, you're coming in to play another,
another fur.
Another fur, yeah.
Another fur. You're gonna be a furry again.
But this time, literally, like straight up, like he's tall. Like he just looks. The way he looks, I would not want to go near him. Like,
yeah.
He looks disgusting. He looks legit like a
his
crackhead.
eyes are literally popping out of his skull. Like
they're
holy shit.
They're facing different directions, like very cartoonish, and it just looks off. But aside from that, there's another ridiculous character in there. Like I think Mongal looks.
Mongal.
Well, I mean, she's accurate to what she is in the books, but like.
In a way, but yeah.
Even her, like, I wouldn't be because she's like the only alien of the team, so I wouldn't be surprised if they like, if they build her up to like this, like, oh, like, I served under Darkseid. I'm this big bad bitch, and I'm super powerful. I can crush you all with my, like toothpicks and all. Like they hype her up as like this ultra badass, and then 5 minutes into the mission, she's the first to die. like I'm all for that. Like it's a very James Gunn thing to do.
Yeah,
and so. I honestly can't wait how this plays out. And
another James Gunn thing to do is, bring in Michael fucking Rooker.
Oh, yeah, as this blonde, like, not blonde, white hair, pale. I don't know who he's playing.
I forgot.
Which I love, which I appreciate, too. Like 70% of those villains, I have no idea who the hell, they're so obscure that he literally, but... The beauty of this movie, which is really what this first one should have done, is that
it's going to have a high kill count.
But he tripled the cast, but with names. Like you know who these people are. You know who these people are, and you have them playing these ridiculous roles. But it only adds to the fact that they're gonna be dropping like flies. You know what I mean? So yeah. Obviously, you still have a few safe bets. Like, obviously, they're not going to kill Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
Idris Elba could die. He could just be a one-off in this movie. I wouldn't be surprised if they do that.
Yeah.
Rick Flag, Amanda Waller, they're not going anywhere. But all the rest of them, it's like...
They're all up
in the air. Like, y'all can bite the dust any second.
I know for sure Polka Dot Man and Ratcatcher 2 are going to bite the dust somehow.
Imagine if they make it to the end. Like they're
like the final survival
they're the
members.
Strongest of them.
Right? Again, a James Gunn thing to do.
He is called Weasel. He'll probably get himself out of this. But yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. I can't wait to see how this plays out. Mm-hmm. It just looks bananas. Like that. It's colorful. It's a mess. And
you have fucking Pete Davidson.
You have a doctor in there. You have a doctor.
You have the king of Staten Island there. Oh yeah, the doctor himself, Peter Capaldi.
Yeah, you have two different Petes in there. One's a doctor, and then the other one's like. You know what I think though? I think because obviously I think worse than Justice League was probably Suicide Squad, as far as like WB interference and making this thing just awful.
And cutting.
And also, you never should have formed the Suicide Squad to take on Superman. Like, that was Amanda's whole argument. It's like, what happens if Superman goes rogue? We need to bring him in. Yeah? Bring him in with a crazy bitch who swings a bat around and a dude who shoots good and someone who chucks boomerangs.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this is your squad that you're gonna... The only one who's capable is the sorceress, right? The magic chick. And she ends up going bad in this movie because of you. So, like... that whole thing just didn't make sense from the jump. It's like you have these non-powered, none of them are metahumans, and they keep calling them metahumans, and it just pissed me off. It's like you have all these non-powered villains go up against an end of the world type situation with this what's the actress's name? Cara Delevingne.
Yeah, Cara Delevingne.
And her Egyptian brother and all this bullshit. But like when really what this movie is doing, which should have been done first, is like, no, you don't hire the Suicide Squad for that. That's what the Justice League is for, right? You bring in the Suicide Squad to do the dirty work that even our special ops won't do. You bring them in to take out these dictators, to take out these terrorists that are in hiding, you know, to do all this grunt work that you can't send average grunts to do. You know what I mean? And hey, if they get compromised, it wasn't us. It was the bad guys. It was the villains acting on their own accord. You know what I mean? So no accountability whatsoever on the government side. So it looks like they're adapting that, like right even to the storming the tropical beach of this, which is straight from like the original covers of the Suicide Squad. So I'm just like, everything I'm seeing from this movie I'm loving, because it looks 100% James Gunn and 100% Suicide Squad, and I'm all for it.
Yep. Honestly. And yeah, that was definitely one of my my favorite non-main event reveals.
Yeah. Oh man, I almost want to just rewatch it, like just that roll call of just like, I think I missed a few people like who are in this thing, but yeah, I can't wait for it. I mean, aside from, actually, I don't even think anyone. I mean, Batfleck now, but I think out of everyone, Margot Robbie really is the one actress of this whole DC FU who came out looking pretty good. Like her, none of her shit got canceled. Like, she continues to be Harley no matter what, because she has embodied that. You know, like she is Harleen Quinzel. You know, like she plays the role well.
And she does the voice well.
Yeah. She's getting a less slutty suit in this, you know. She's getting a full-on, like, red and black, you know, Arkham, like from the Arkham games. Like a
complete badass suit.
Yeah, so that's great. I look forward to that. Since we're on the topic of Suicide Squad, I guess we should bring up the game.
Yeah, right? Which, actually, I wanted to segue into with the whole, you know, how you mentioned that, like, Amanda Waller's whole argument for, you know, creating the Suicide Squad in the first place is if Superman goes bad. And what do you have? Sure enough, Superman goes bad. But not only Superman, but apparently the whole Justice League in the game Suicide Squad versus kills the Justice League.
Which is so funny, because even they address how stupid it is. Because they're like, wait, you're sending us to take on him?
It's like, fucking Boomer comes in at the end, is like, wait, so who are we supposed to kill again? And literally everyone points out one of my favorite moments.
And he's like, just like,
you know,
fuck.
He's like, fuck.
Yeah, it's so, they're so self-aware with it. And I will say this, I was disappointed that we didn't get gameplay. So I feel that, like, honestly, these days, don't even release a trailer if you don't have gameplay ready. But just seeing the dynamic of these guys, which I'm pretty sure that's Tara Strong voicing
I'm pretty
Harley
sure.
again. But the dynamic of these four...
technically, this is supposedly in the same continuation as Arkham Knights.
Yeah, it's the same. It's in the same universe as the Arkham series, which I mean, hey, let's see how that plays out. But you have Tara back, and she plays well with these other guys. Like just how they're
the banter is on point.
Yeah, the banter, great banter. So I'm loving it. I like how they're riffing off each other, but also just even gameplay mechanics. I like that it's a single player storyline, but you can switch between the four if you don't have 4 players jumping in. So if you have 4 players, great, all 4 of you can play, or 3 of you, or 2, whatever. And if not, hey, you can switch around like the Ultimate Alliance games. You can switch around to your different
which I love that they're bringing back. Members.
Yeah.
Honestly, that was like one of my favorite mechanics, because like, you know, it actually made these multiplayer games playable when you're single player. Like, oh shit, okay, I'm not stuck as a person. Yeah. I'm not stuck as a single person. I can switch between someone else if need be. I'm not, you know, forced to go a single route. I have options. I could play around, and I have all these great combos that open up to me and me alone.
So yeah, I mean, I can't wait till they actually show gameplay. I think that will really be my deciding factor of like if I like it or not, and if I'll spend money on it. But one game that no matter what, I'm pretty sure I will spend money on is Gotham Knights,
Yeah.
Because that trailer came out, and we thought that was in the same, like, Arkham verse, but apparently it's not.
No.
Apparently it's going to be its own thing. And by the time we get to the Court of Owls, ain't no way Batman's dead. Like, he definitely pulled a Batman where he faked his own death just to infiltrate the court and to see what the owls are all about and to take them down. Like, there's no doubt that's going to be the final reveal of this game. Which I also appreciate because Gotham Knights actually showed gameplay.
Yeah, 7 minutes of it, and those 7 minutes, in my opinion, is better than Avengers.
Oh, the beta, yeah. Yeah, that did show. It looks better. It looks better. It seems like it flows, and also
the map design is much more organic than just being stuck in a single
platform.
Plane. Fucking. You get repeated instances of you going into AIM labs, destroying, and then the only variety you get is like the occasional enemy type and like the objective. But I don't know. All of it is mostly just forest.
I don't know if it'll have a multiplayer to it though, because like what we saw was 2-player co-op. So
sorry,
too much water. But so I think it's a great way to actually split up the story and also have it flow, because we were in the beta we were experiencing like frame rate issues and this stuff clearly doesn't work when you have
and lobby issues,
lobby issues. But
trying to join a game.
I'm just talking about the missions themselves. It's like if you didn't choose Hulk, you can't open this door that only Hulk opens.
Yeah.
Whereas in this, it's like, hey, for this story, because what they said into the gameplay, it's like, hey, this is 2 hours into Batgirl's story arc.
Yeah, into the Mr. Freeze arc.
So in this section, it's only her and Robin, right? So that immediately trims off the fat. So it's like, hey, if there's certain things in this mission that only Robin can do, he will do them, because it's just used to splitting the workload. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think by keeping it to 2, it helps pacing, and also like it helps with how seamless the gameplay will flow.
Yeah.
Because you don't have too much going on screen.
And there's a lot more of a narrative focus when you narrow down your options.
Yeah. So clearly, like the beginning of the game will be Barbara, then we'll go into Red Hood, then or however they're gonna do it.
It's probably might end up being like Barbara to tie things together with the alternate universe. We get to see how Jim supposedly Jim dies,
and then at the end,
the first aftermath of like Bruce dying, Jim dying, why the Gotham Police Department can't be trusted, and then you bring in Damian as like a way.
Is it Damian? I thought it looked like Tim Drake to me.
Is it?
I didn't think.
I think it might be Tim Drake because it was like a hood.
Yeah, I didn't think that was Damian.
So you bring in Tim. To like be like that the last Robin that technically got to work with Batman, with Bruce,
like officially,
as a Robin, Red Robin, and then you move on to Nightwing, the last literal person to actually work with Batman besides Oracle, in Arkham Knight, and got to see him, he got to experience what happened in Arkham Knight and all that shit before he got sent back to Bloodhaven.
Yeah.
So now he has to come back to help out, and then you go on to Red Hood, Jason fucking Todd,
which is weird to me. Which is why I'm pretty sure this isn't set in the same Arkhamverse, because you have Barbara walking. You know what I mean? So she's not in the wheelchair, and then.
But we do see the wheelchair like to her left. In the trailer.
So what the fuck is going on? Like,
exactly.
How do you miraculously walk again? Like, you can't fix paralyzation. Like, we'll see how they do it. And even even with Batman's death, that's the big one, because it's like, hey, at the end of Arkham, he clearly dies, because of the Joker toxin or whatever. But here, apparently, it's not even addressing that. It's he fake dies in this. So I don't know. We'll see. Answers still need to be cleared up.
And who else would be a perfect segue into bringing Bruce back than someone who already technically died in the first place? Jason Todd himself.
Yeah, it could be. It very well could be.
It would be a very amazing mirror.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. Who knows? They might even have the Lazarus Pit in the game.
Yeah.
As far as what that'll do.
Since this is technically in the same universe as Arkham, well, it's an Arkhamverse of some sort. There are Lazarus Pits because
we don't know that
Rage.
We don't know. We don't know if it's the same universe as the Arkham game.
But for all intents and purposes,
yeah,
we could say just things play out similarly, and with Rage being killed off in City,
the look is
his whole shtick is the Lazarus Pits.
Yeah, the look is definitely throwing everyone off because it looks like the Arkham, like the Rocksteady games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the look is what has people confused as to like whether or not we will get the same Rage or the same Jason Todd and all these things. But I do appreciate that because I had heard of this, but obviously there was no trailer or anything until now. And I think all games should really do it this way. It's like, hey, don't show us shit unless you have gameplay. Like that one Monkey King game that we saw that just dropped.
Oh yeah,
and
the
took the internet
Black Myth
and
Wukong.
took the internet by storm. And we're all like, what is this thing? Like we all immediately want to play it now. So I think with this, you showed that 4-minute trailer and then you have a 7-minute demo of gameplay. Whereas with Suicide Squad, all they did was a CG trailer. That it's like, well, your department didn't even do it. Like the CG department did that. Like the marketing did all that. You know what I mean? So we don't know what the game looks like.
We know that's not rendered in engine until it specifically says
it's
rendered
a cutscene.
in engine.
It's a cutscene. Like we don't know what your game actually looks like yet. All you did was talk. So I do
for me personally
appreciate that they showed.
Yeah, for me personally, I don't mind it because Suicide Squad the game doesn't come out until fucking 2022. That's 2 whole fucking years from now.
It is, but I'm saying, like the image that they announced, great, right?
Yeah.
Speculation, and then a trailer. I mean, cool. We have a trailer now, but I'm just saying I would prefer it if games didn't do a trailer without gameplay to back it up. That's just how I view it. Like, because we can't, because games are different than movies, obviously.
Yeah,
like
they
you
are.
need to see gameplay of like, how is this looking in real time? How is it flowing? How is it, you know what I mean?
Oh, speaking of which, mind you, fucking Wukong looks gorgeous as all hell.
We're not talking about
but
I just want
to fucking praise it no matter what.
We're buying that shit no matter what, like single player.
But
and
the
everything.
fact that it's footage that was rendered on a gameplay engine on gameplay that is pre-alpha and it looks that amazing. It just shows you how like insane, like how
we could do a whole video on just that footage alone.
And that will be then. And now we bring it back to DC.
Yeah, Gotham Knights. I mean, looks great. I'm definitely gonna buy it no matter what. I hope they change a few things. They're really just nitpicks, honestly. It's like I didn't like the way the numbers were coming up. They looked very. They didn't mesh with the environment. Like you know how you know how the combos were so stylized when Batman was doing his free flow combat. Yeah. And 5 combo, 10 combo.
Yeah.
50, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
But it was.
Yeah.
It looked. It
like if it was part of the.
It looked exaggerated and chalky, and I think it was like a yellow but it had like a black out, like whatever. It looked cool and fitting, right? It meshed with the environment. It looks like it's just generic ass rudimentary numbers. That was just like, oh, white letters because you're doing base damage, yellow because you're building up your meter, and then orange to do like max damage or whatever. Like when she's fighting Freeze, I'm just like, I hope they change that because like.
Yeah,
that really took me out of it. Where it's like, why do these numbers look so stupid? So
yeah, no, the way that you explain it now, I totally get what you mean. Like, stylize those numbers. Make it a bit
fit
more
with your goddamn world.
Yeah, I mean you've already done it with fucking Arkham
because everything looks great.
Everything else.
If that's my complaint, then your game looks good. You know what I mean?
Your game is good.
Your game is good if that's my complaint. If my complaint is I don't like the way that looks.
Something
but it's not the graphics.
That should
be
easily fixable.
Yeah, you can fix that shit. No problem. But I mean we've covered all of them pretty much. Now since we're on the topic of Gotham Knights, I mean we should talk about the Dark Knight.
The man himself. The man, the myth, the legend.
No, Aaron. The Vengeance.
Right. The Vengeance.
Which, I'll start it off with this, all right? Because I know in the last night we built up to that moment.
Yep.
But let's just start with it, because like, someone reacted to my story, and I talked about it during my break, where it's like, because I showed the scene I put the scene up on my story of like, hey, this is the moment where all the naysayers and all, you know, and all the people who had their doubts were beat to the fucking ground just like that goon by Battinson. You know what I mean? Like, immediately everyone shut the hell up, because it's like, who the hell are you supposed to be? And that scene perfectly establishes who this Batman is and what this movie is going to be, because it sets the tone and it sets the character that we're going to see in this. We're dealing with the fact that Batman, he's standing there. It's very much a Daredevil scene, because he's just standing there calm yet with like ferocity. Like, I'm going to let him come to me. And he does. He starts shit. Doesn't say anything because he doesn't have to. Just starts beating the shit out of him. Like, and as soon as he drops, he keeps going. Like, he doesn't stop. Like, he decides to then get down and continue to pummel him to set an example to the rest of them. And then he says, like, as the dude is most likely unconscious, then he says, I'm vengeance. Like, I'm just like that alone. Oh, my bad. No, you good. That alone set the tone of like this is a Batman who's angry, who's still, you know, who's still like striking fear into these criminals' souls, and it's not enough for him to stop them. He has to like
set an example.
Not just set an example. It's not enough to just stop them, right? He has
to get it out of his system.
He has to unleash and really put the fear of the Bat into them. Not the fear of God, the fear of me. Like, you need to know, not to do this shit again in my city.
Swear to me.
Yeah, swear to me, because you're not doing this shit in my city again, because it's my city and I run shit here. Like, I'm making a name for myself. And so I think what I loved even more than the trailer was Matt Reeves just talking about the movie. You can clearly tell he's coming at it from a place of passion, and he understands the character, and he's like, yeah, this isn't year one, because year one we would have had to do the origin. Yeah. This is year 2. So this is a Batman who's been out there, who's, you know, I think you put it best yesterday. It was like who's developed some street cred.
Yeah, street cred, reputation.
And, yeah, like, so now he's a myth, which adds to the opening of that trailer, where it's all the cops and detectives looking at him like, oh shit, he's real. Like, that's the Batman. Like, that's like, because up to that point he's a myth. Like, no one really knows whether if he's real or not. And then
until that point,
boom,
where
there he is.
Where Riddler forces him out.
Yeah. So, and oh my god, the Riddler as your villain, like,
I never thought I would take Riddler serious.
But that's only because he's had great stories in the books, but it's like, people can't shake the bright green outfit with the question marks. We still
the 60s Riddler, the fucking Batman Forever Riddler.
Yeah, because I think so many people still think of that, the Jim Carrey Riddler. So it's like,
and even in the fucking Arkham games, he's more of a pain of an ass than a threat.
Which I do love, though. In Arkham Asylum, like, Riddler's in the game, but as like not even a side quest. Like, you as a collectible hunt. Like, you find all of it, and Batman arrests him via remote control. Like, he doesn't even have to deal with him. He's like, oh, I tracked down his location. All right, call in Gotham PD. Boom, done. Like, I'm just. So he was even played off as a joke in those games, but
not in the Batman. No,
man,
he's an actual fucking maniacal threat.
I think just last year I saw the movie 7 for the first time, where it's Brad Pitt and it's Morgan Freeman.
Oh yeah, with the Zodiac Killer, no?
No, this is different. Zodiac Killer is its own movie.
But it's based off someone that's kind of Zodiac-ish, but like
the whole thing was he was leaving, you know, clues that related to the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah, hence there we go.
Hence the title 7.
Yeah.
And
what's in the box?
What's in the goddamn box? But those are the vibes I got from this. It's like, holy shit, like you have a Riddler who's, because the moment Gordon is, which is great casting by the way, but the moment
Gordon, honestly, I fuck with this Gordon. I love him.
As long as he has the mustache, he's Gordon. So
the mustache, maybe even the glasses.
Oh yeah, and the glasses obviously.
Yeah, he has both.
So he has the look down. It's just that he's black, but it doesn't matter because he's still Gordon, and you have a great actor playing him. As long as you have those key features that are Gordon, it's like the mustache, the tired eyes, the glasses, like you're set.
And just being done with like Batman shit or something.
Yeah. So, but crap, what was I saying?
7.
Right, 7. Those are the vibes I got from this Riddler. It's like, hey, the moment Gordon is reading the note, it's like, it starts off with a riddle, like, hey, something that rhymes with you. I forget what it is, but it's like, and then Gordon's like, what does this mean?
To your special friend.
To you.
This is for you.
Yeah, this is for you. But like, so he reads that, so we already know who we're dealing with. But then as it goes on, even with like the tape, like, dude, him wrapping his victims around and everything.
What a way to start the trailer. Like holy shit.
Immediately, it's like, okay, Batman's going to have to think. Like, and the fact that it's year 2 Batman, it's like, okay, he hasn't dealt with anything like this before. Like, he's gone around beating up criminals and doing all this shit. It's easy to scare the grunts, right?
Yeah.
As we know from Halo, like they run away at the first sign of danger.
Yeah.
But now you're dealing with someone who thinks he's smarter than you, so you have to prove him wrong. And I love that this movie is gonna be showcasing the greatest aspect of Batman, which is he has to become the world's greatest detective.
Yes.
He has to find this guy before it's too late.
Yep.
He has to get to the bottom of it. What is he trying to prove? What's this whole thing
and
about
how
lies?
Can he, like, what lies? What the fuck, like, why is he, going after me? Why me? And how he can be, 2 steps ahead of him.
What role do I play in all this? Like the whole trailer was just, the fact that they only shot like 25% of this and then they just cut this together. Like,
and it looks fantastic, mind you.
Like, the most they did was probably just like color palette shit, like just making that thing look crisp, because there's only like one explosion in the thing, you know what I mean? There's no CG in this from that I can tell, except maybe some touch-ups,
the background, the city that
we don't even see,
Reeves says
we don't even see though. Like we see it through like windows at most. So but even the setting is great, because it's like, okay, we've seen the ultra realistic Nolan, like Chicago was Gotham, right?
Yeah.
So we've seen the Batman in an uber realistic setting. We've seen the very exaggerated gothic style of Burton, right? Where it's like, hey, this is Gotham. It's something you've never seen before. And so now we're getting a perfect blend, because he even said, it's like, hey, we filmed in Liverpool. Like, we didn't go back to Chicago. We filmed in Liverpool to get that ancient architecture.
Yeah.
And then we modernized it with CG. We put modern buildings on top of that to create something that's very unique to Gotham. And I was just like, bro, that's all you had to say. Like,
yeah. Like, so to me, that's what sold me on, is the fact that like like, I didn't even see the trailer, but I mean, I didn't even see the Matt Reeves like talking about it. I just saw the trailer, and like, even from there I got that, like, the feeling, it was perfectly conveyed that this is a perfect marriage between the Tim Burton style and, having him be somewhat realistic like Nolan. Yeah. And ironically, this is much more realistic than Nolan's Batman, because like, this isn't gonna take you up of like, being like, oh yeah, that's Chicago, I remember. Like, it distracts you.
I know where that filmed at. Like, I know where this takes place.
Yeah, I know, I've been there.
I drove under that highway.
Yeah,
that's how I get to work.
It takes you out of the movie, but this in its own way is much more realistic in the fact that like it immerses you in a completely, a Gotham that we've never seen before.
Yeah, so I'm excited for
a Gotham that can actually exist in our time.
Yeah, which pretty much sets the rumors straight, because we thought that this was going to take place in the 90s. But then you have people in there with smartphones, so it's like, oh, okay, so it's just like an alternate timeline that we got.
Not only that, but this is what I wanted to bring up. That I like as soon as I rewatched the trailer in 4K, I never noticed. You remember the car that it crashes into that building? Okay, so
what? It's a 2018 model or
no,
something?
it's a fucking 2020 Buick or something.
Yeah. Okay.
It looks. It's a very modern Buick.
Yeah, it's not like a 90s.
It's a nice ass looking car, but that's another detail I also wanted to point out. When it crashes into it, like it catches Batman, Bruce Wayne, Pattinson Wayne, out of surprise because it crashes into a funeral that he's attending.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
I didn't notice that until the fucking 5 times that I've rewatched it.
The 4K version. So he's at a funeral.
He's at a funeral.
And it was
That's why he's in the black and white suit and why it looks like the way it does.
Riddler might find out his secret identity, because if he sent a bomber at a funeral that he knew Batman would be at, he knows. He's dangerously close if he doesn't already know that Bruce Wayne is Batman. And
this is the cool part from that trailer alone too. Like, Bruce Wayne, he's out there in the daylight. This whole fiasco starts at day, but Batman comes back at night because the place is empty, and like he's probably investigating, and that's when it explodes.
The clues that he missed. Oh yeah.
Which I think is fucking genius.
So great. It's so great. There's so much to dissect with this trailer. Because even, I mean, my favorite shot of it is the, is this. They're all in like they're in an interrogation room of sorts, right?
Yeah.
They're at the Gotham, precinct, obviously.
Yeah.
But it very. Because you can infer so much from that one shot where it's Batman getting into a fight with the cops, but they're clearly not trying to arrest him.
No, they're trying to stop him.
He's clearly not trying to hurt them. It literally seems like an altercation where it's like, get the fuck out of my way.
Yeah.
And then Gordon of all people pins him to the wall, but not in a threatening way like, hey, what's going on? In a way that's like, hey, calm down, let's talk about this. So I love that from that shot you can tell that it's a fight, but not like both sides are trying to hurt one another. It's clearly just a misunderstanding, because Batman clearly wants to do something, and the Gotham PD doesn't want him to. I don't think that's a good idea, Chief. It's one of those moments where it's like, man, way to convey so much in just a split 3 seconds, where it's like, hey, clearly there's a disagreement of sorts. Something more is going on here. Who knows? Maybe he found out the Riddler's next location, and he wants to get there right away. And they're like, no, we have to talk about this. We have to set up a plan, and who knows what's gonna happen. But that's my favorite shot.
And speaking of shots, I didn't realize that the fucking cinematographer, his name is Greg Fraser or something.
Okay.
He's the reason why the movie is toned the way that it is. Apparently he helped shape the tone of it, and every single shot looks the way that it does.
What's he done before?
I have no idea, but this guy he pointed it out to me. It's not only Matt Reeves, but it's also Greg Fraser,
the choreographer that they got for this.
Yeah, the cinematographer. They make one hell of a team, and I just have high hopes.
I think he brought in a guy from the Apes movies, didn't he?
Probably. I'm not exactly sure, but I just wanted to give credit to both of them for It
looks great, and what I love is the wide angles. It's not too close,
but not too far.
Even that interrogation room, none of it is close in on the action. If it was Nolan doing it, bro, you wouldn't know.
There'd be 5 different
It'd be
cuts.
shaking all over the fuck. You wouldn't know what the hell's going on. But this, it's no, the camera is outside of the cell, and it's staying there. And so you see Batman. And another trick I love is that this dude, we forget how tall Robert is. Batman is towering over everyone. He is 6'4", and they're all trying to stop him. It's just dude, this guy just towers over everyone. Even when he walks into the room, everyone's looking up at him. And even the final shot of the trailer where he all the thugs are in the background, and then from the foreground, like Batman just stands up
very
ominously, but he's getting taller and taller, and they're all just looking at him like, oh shit. So I love that they're incorporating that hey, he is a physically imposing threat. Like his look is what gives it off.
And speaking of looks, like I'm trying to look for the original Batman suit from the comic.
Mm-hmm. What, the gray and blue thing?
Not the gray and blue, like the very original suit. But this is like, it didn't hit me until the 4K trailer. But Pattinson looks exactly like, his outfit looks exactly like that.
Just with armor?
Yeah,
like
with armor, but like his
shape
cowl,
of the helmet?
yeah, the shape of the cowl is straight up the original suit.
Yeah.
And it didn't hit me until like rewatching the trailer. I'm like, oh shit, they made that suit look cool.
Even the color scheme, it sticks to that original look because it's only black and gray.
Yeah.
Like they didn't put any blues or yellows in there. Like it's just black and gray.
Yeah, it's just black enough to like be able to blend in with the night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it looks great, which goes to show, like, the costume design, the detail that went into it, because it's, like, even from the set photos, I was like, what are you guys complaining about? He looks dope. Like, he looks cool. Like, yeah, he looks like Daredevil, but that's not a bad thing. Like, and even the shots of him on the motorcycle and in that cemetery, he looked great. Like, he looked good, but it just wasn't properly lit because we haven't seen it yet. Yeah. And here you see it properly lit. Like you see him just standing there.
You see it the way that you're intended to see it.
There's no like lighting trickery. It's just, hey, even if it's in a dark room, you still see him in the suit and like the details, right? So it's like, it looks great in motion. That's what we were waiting on, and we saw it in motion, and it looks great. I don't mind like the biker pads and all this stuff because it looks like he reinforced all that shit anyway.
Speaking of which. Another thing that shows up in the 4K trailer is you see him clearly getting shot in the chest, point blank, and the bullet gets reflected.
I even took a screenshot of that because he took that hit like a champ. He's like, oh, but then it's like but clearly that wasn't enough to, like wound him. It just like knocked him back a bit. So, so I love that shot too. But just even because I think Matt Reeves was even commenting on it, like how like a good costume designer does, it is to serve the story. So like you're gonna see him with like scratches and dents in his cowl because he's been out there for 2 years. You know what I mean? He's gone out looking for trouble. He's there's battle damage on the suit and he pieced it together. So the way it looks, it's functional. Like Robert Pattinson needed to be able to move in the thing, and it fits him. It fits his figure. He's not a bulky Batman, but he's not slim.
He's not slim.
He's lean. He's physically imposing.
He's in the right shape.
He's in the right shape for an early Batman that is going out there and he is active. You know what I mean? He's actively involved. He's not gonna get tired easily. He's gonna beat your ass.
Yeah.
But there's weight behind his punches. Like he's throwing himself in there. He's getting out of breath, but he's still composed. So like he could take on the rest of them if he wanted to. In that scene where he beat up that one goon, if he wanted to, he could take on the rest. Yeah. Something tells me that it's not gonna play out that way. Because like you have one thug like borderline crying, another one's just filming it. Like it's just
like there were at least a couple of kids in there.
There was a few fucking kids who were way over their head. It's like I will never do crime again. I will leave Gotham the first train out, and you'll never see me again, Batman. But even then, like what he was commenting on the suit is that like it had to be practical for both the actor and the character, but also it had to have room to grow.
Freedom.
You know what I mean? Room to grow. Like, he will be customizing it further. He will be replacing pieces. He's going to continue to be a more effective Batman,
Yeah.
So, and even right down to the car, which, like, I love the car. Like, I love that it's finally street legal. Like, he's not driving a tank anymore. You know what I mean? It was just like, that's not realistic.
No, he literally took his personal car,
took a sports car,
he removed the trunk and retrofitted a fucking jet.
Yeah, he just literally attached the jet engine to the thing, and it's just like, it works. It works, and it looks cool, and and he will continue to customize that car too. So
yeah,
that's, again, it helps that we're dealing with an early Batman. Similar to Nolan, it's like the Batcave isn't the Batcave yet. It's like, well, actually, no, he did have the Batcave in the first movie. It's until The Dark Knight that he had a warehouse.
Yeah.
But even in this, it's like the Batcave looks like it's underneath his mansion, but it's just like, it looks like he just rented out the warehouse and just dumped all his shit in there. He's got his operating table, and it's just, this is where I work, and I love that there's no Lucius. It's just him doing this
by
shit
himself
on his own. Yeah,
with our boy Andy Serkis, being his Alfred,
which I love too. I love that we're getting we sort of got it with Jeremy Irons.
Yeah, there you go.
Jeremy Irons. But now I'm pretty sure we're gonna get that full on, like, hey, ex-military Alfred, who's probably gonna be sparring with Bruce, and it's like, really, you can't get out of this chokehold? Like, what good are you gonna be out there? Like,
what's the point of all those bloody push-ups if you can't even
lift the log?
lift the log.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to their dynamic, and you had to bring back, Caesar from your last trilogy. Like, yeah, bring him on in, and man, I hope he gets a trilogy for this movie, because I want to see his
There's so
version
much
of this.
potential that he's
Much.
you can see him planting the seeds of the future.
We haven't even
this
talked
single
about Catwoman, and she's in this, another seed that's planted, because she's clearly not. She's just a cat burglar. Like, she hasn't
a literal cat burglar.
She hasn't gotten the advanced suit yet. You know what I mean? Like, it's literally just a hockey mask that she cut out to look like a cat. Like,
that she probably
put that shit on, and she's out doing her thing. Like, But I do love, though, that the house that she chose to burglar into, Batman happened to be there, like, investigating. So it's like, wow, terrible luck on your part.
Right.
So it's just like the fight that they're gonna get into.
I cannot wait to see their dynamic.
Yeah. It's gonna be great. He's gonna catch feelings like he always does.
Yeah.
So is she, to an extent, but she'll be better at hiding them. We haven't seen Colin Firth, so we haven't seen him as Penguin, but he's gonna be in the movie.
But then again, like we mentioned last night, is the fact that this movie had to was forced to cease production 20% of it, and
25%,
25%, and Colin Firth barely came on for a week or a day or something, so he literally has nothing to work with to show for.
He only shot a scene, because we have the set photos, but it's all from the same place, so he only shot that one scene.
And Lord knows if that scene is still being reworked, or they've done reshoots, so nobody knows until it comes out.
Yeah, it just goes to show how great this trailer is, though, because for a teaser, it set the tone, and it's like, hey, this is the Batman movie you're gonna get. So, no surprises there. It's all very straightforward, which I appreciate. So this teaser bumped my excitement up. Like, this is the movie. More than even any of the MCU movies. I'm so hyped to see this. I want to see how this plays out. I want to see this Batman. He's already my Batman. I'm all for it. He's got the look. He's got the intensity. He looks like a tortured soul. He looks damaged, unironically. There's no tattoo on his forehead needed. He looks damaged and angry and pissed off at the. Oh yeah, it took you a while to get that. But yeah, he looks bored. I told my buddy on in the DMs, it's he looks borderline unhinged.
Yeah, he does.
The fact that he wouldn't stop at the, hey, I disarmed this guy and I beat him with his own pipe and he's down and out on the ground. The fact that he didn't stop there, he's like, no, for me, I'm gonna continue to pummel you into the concrete.
And another example of back in the day when Batman said that when I put criminals down, they stay down. Or was it Batman?
That was Punisher. That
was Punisher. Oh yeah,
because he went around killing people. So,
but essentially, what they're both similar in the fact that
well, Batman won't kill, but
he will not kill, but he will critically injure you.
He will make sure you are in a coma for the rest of your life. If he can, he'll do it. If not, hey, 6 months in recovery, that works too.
Yeah, recovery and then to straight to Arkham with you.
Exactly. So yeah, I can't wait. I love how it's such a nice blend of both the exaggeration of Burton, the brutality of Batfleck, and the realism of Nolan,
and
all meshed into one to give us something different.
Yeah, and another thing that I want to throw in there is I grew up watching the Batman the Animated Series with Kevin Conroy voicing him, and like that show was a noir as well. It was very, very mature, and like it dealt with some real shit for a cartoon, and the fact that like I'm able to like bring Pattinson up to Conroy's level in my personal opinion is like
it's gonna be such a good movie.
Yeah,
like the reason we're talking so highly, like there's no doubts because we know who's behind it. Like the moment they announced Matt Reeves, it's like
a collective sigh of relief.
That was it. It's like this.
That's all you needed.
This project is in good hands. Like,
yeah,
we're just excited to see it. And then the trailer came out and it validated everything that we were hyped about in the first place. It's like,
and it felt so good to have everything validated.
It looks good. We want to see it like today.
Yeah.
So, but we gotta wait till 2021 with the question marks.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can't wait. I just love that we're finally getting
a proper Batman.
Yeah, because so many of them, like Batfleck was great, but he's not, from the killing and him being a dumbass in BVS, like I didn't like the
they definitely dumbed him down, but that was like definitely
I didn't like
WB.
I didn't like Meathead Batman. So
yeah,
but
something's definitely bleeding.
Yeah, it's fucking or even we shouldn't get into BVS because a lot of the things that I don't like are Snyder's things, but it's just like
Martha.
Not even
What'd
that.
you say, Martha?
Not even that. It's just like the fact that you have a Batman who's supposed to be brilliant, right? Like he's supposed to be world's greatest detective, smartest man on earth, everything, all these things. He's supposed to be clever. And his whole drive for the movie hinges on the fact that there might be a 1% chance that Superman goes bad. And yet all the movie has done is show Superman try to be good. He's being worshipped in Mexico. He's pulling a sunken ship out of Antarctica.
Yeah.
He's complying with the government. He's showing up to the court hearings, and Bruce is like,
saved like this like a little shuttle full of like the
astronauts from
that explosion.
Yeah, he's bench pressing a space shuttle, and Bruce is like, nah, I don't like him. I'm just like, what the fuck do you mean? Like He's trying to do good, and you're just like, nah, that 1%, nah.
There's 1% of chance.
Yeah. So I like that this one is going to take a much smarter approach. I like that he's dealing with the Riddler for the first time, and he will definitely learn from this experience. Like, he will get to the bottom of it. And, I mean, it's just, I'm literally speechless. I'm so happy to be alive in a world where it's like, hey,
that this is happening.
I'm still waiting on Spider-Man, right? Because I feel like as far as the live action movies, I'm still waiting on my perfect incarnation of Spider-Man. But I'm so relieved to have a Batman now. Like I haven't seen the movie yet, obviously. Yeah. There could be some nitpicks, but from what I've seen and from what I know so far, this looks like the perfect iteration of Batman on screen.
This is the Batman.
The Batman. So I'm excited for this. I'll leave you to bring up any final thoughts that you want before I end it with my theme, so to speak.
Well, yeah. I definitely do agree with you. Like, even I can say, like, you know what? This is it. You've hit it. You've hit the nail on the head. This is the Batman. This will be the definitive Batman that isn't Kevin Conroy.
Don't fucking have him kill. Like, that's all I ask. Don't have him kill people in this movie. Like, just come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin Conroy is great. I think before this, because obviously in other mediums we have perfect iterations, right?
Yeah.
So like, my perfect Spider-Man is Spectacular,
Spider-Man.
and now Insomniac, right? My perfect Batman is the Arkham series Batman, especially one and City.
Yeah.
So,
which just so happens to also be the same exact animated series Batman that I've grew up with, because it's also from the same writer, Paul Dano.
The animated series, yeah. So I think, I think this to end it, what I'm loving, right? And I don't know if they're gonna pull like a Winter Soldier as far as like a political commentary, because you know how Winter Soldier happened to be at the right moment when
with
the
whole
Snowden shit happened,
the Patriot Act,
the Patriot Act, and as far as like how much is too much as far as
government
surveillance. So Matt Reeves was talking about the whole theme of this. The center of this movie is gonna be the corruption of Gotham. How bad Gotham has gotten to where you need a Batman to surface, right? The city has gotten so bad from the criminal organization, like the criminal underground, like the criminal corruption, and the Gotham PD corruption.
Yeah.
Not Gotham. Batman don't trust nobody in there except maybe Gordon, right? So like, it's gotten so bad, and I think after hearing his thoughts about it, or not his thoughts, after hearing Matt Reeves talk about the corruption, now it makes sense what Riddler might be doing in this movie, because he's talking about, if you're after justice, why do you lie? If you are justice, why do you lie? Why the lies? Lies is constantly written. So I think Riddler is going to be a product of the systemic injustice in Gotham as well, to where he's not so much a villain, but he's going about it the wrong way. Like, he wants to get to the bottom of uncovering the corruption in Gotham, but he's killing people by doing it, which Batman is not cool with. But Batman is also not in the right. He's going out as a vigilante. He is going out every night looking for trouble, like outside the law with Gotham and PD and everything. So Batman is going about it in his own way, and then Riddler is trying to get to the bottom of it in his way. And then now Bruce is forced to try to find this guy before it gets too out of hand. Yeah. So I think that's where the lies come in, where it's like Riddler, probably something awful happened to him, and he's very... he's very resentful towards his city, and he's trying to uncover the dark secrets that Gotham lies. Hence, the lies.
Which, for me, if they make his origin that Riddler used to work for the DC.
Gotham City, he's an ex-detective,
and not only an ex-detective, but like he was within, like he came from the inside. So he has the experience to back up. He knows
all the crooked cops. He knows what they.
Can you imagine that?
Oh my god!
Because I know that's from like fitting. Arkham and the Arkham games too, and the lore is that he used to be part of
with the police.
Police until like he just started becoming like like.
That would be so good.
Crazy.
Which also I think plays into... we're over speculating at this point, but I think it adds to why Riddler wants to bring Batman in, because he probably wants him on his side. Like,
and why he keeps saying, if you are justice, then why the lies?
Like, and I think he's like, all these messages for Batman, he's trying to lure him in because he has a role for him. Like, he probably understands that Batman is the only one capable of helping him uncover the truth of Gotham, right? So whether Batman's going to do it willingly or not, I think that's why Riddler is keeping him at a distance. And he's luring him in with, like, almost like bribery. Like, hey, like, I'm killing people. I'm sending in these bombers. Like, I'm leaving you these notes. Like, he's forcing him to comply. And Bruce is, obviously not a fan of that. So he's gonna, he's gonna try to outsmart his way out of this. So... I'm just so excited for what this movie is, and I love that we're getting something complex. Like, we're getting something that's Daredevil style. Like, even Reddit and the YouTube comments and Instagram, like, we're all making the Daredevil comparisons because that's what we have. Like, we got a real gritty crime drama with the Netflix series, right? And even down to the suit and the mannerisms and how... And much of a
dealing
physical
with corruption too.
Dealing with crime, dealing with even Fisk has even the police in his pocket. Like, we're dealing with similar elements that we're now gonna see on a bigger budgeted movie, right?
And from I guess you could say from a different perspective too.
Well, yeah, because because we're gonna have Selena Kyle, we're gonna have Riddler, we're gonna have so we're gonna see it from multiple points of view, and we're gonna see how all these converge into the main theme of this movie, which is the corruption of Gotham. Like, we're gonna see how they all have a role to play, I'm sure, and we're gonna see how it all comes together. Because even Falcone is in this movie.
Yeah.
So Falcone, we're getting pre-Penguin, we're getting pre-Catwoman, we're getting Year 2 Batman, and we're getting Riddler. So like, five main hitters. Like,
as far as we know, and it's a big cast too.
It's a damn big cast. I can't. The ideas are just like, I'm so excited to see how this movie plays out, because like we've gotten 3 seasons of Daredevil, right? With the first and the third being the best. So I can't wait to see that type of intricacy and thought and thematic elements be incorporated into this Batman. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not ripping off, because they've always been similar characters. Like, they're constantly compared to one another, but it's like, now we get to see it in a movie. Like, and I can't fucking wait. Like, we finally have the technology to portray a practical, efficient Batman. You know what I mean? The suit looks good and it functions, right? No more. Even Nolan struggled with like the head turning and shit, but now we don't. Now we have a believable Batman. Like, well, we had it with Batfleck, but now we have it even in a realistic sense,
a genuine Batman, if you will.
Yeah, he's not. Hopefully, he's not gonna be fucking mowing down people with his car. We're gonna get a proper Batman, is the way I summarize it.
Pretty much.
So that was the trailer to end this whole thing on, and it was the one I'm most excited about, and I'm such a huge fan of, Batman and Daredevil. Like, I really gravitate towards those characters.
Oh yeah.
As much as I love Spider-Man, right? But I relate to these two far more. So I've gotten my perfect Daredevil. Now I'm finally getting my perfect Batman, and I just opening night, like, hell, if this kicks off, if we weasel our way into becoming like movie critics or something, like, and we get screeners and shit, or get in early, like, bro, even better. Like, I want to see this as soon as possible, and I can't wait.
Yeah.
And I already know I'm gonna be rewatching the hell out of it. So
yeah,
I just can't wait. Can't wait.
Pretty much, it's just nothing but praise and just high hopes for the Batman.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna end it on any note, it's this. It's like, hey, DC, you're finally on the right track. You're
doing exactly what you should have been doing from the beginning, and it's doing mature, darker storylines like the Batman.
We're getting the Batman while not having to cancel
Batfleck.
You know what I mean? So it's like, we're getting different things. You're fixing the Snyderverse, while at the same time you're branching away from it, because you don't need it. You're doing your Shazam, you're doing your Batman, you're doing your Jokers, like your Suicide Squad. Like, we're getting all these movies that look different from one another. You know what I mean? They're all different. So,
and I do love
kudos
the fact
to them.
I do love the fact that, like, the two most serious and different looking properties that we're getting as of now is Joker.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And Batman, and they happen to be related to each other.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we get hints of Joker in this either.
I wouldn't be surprised, because like the thugs that, like, Batman, like, they
got the
shit out of
smiles going on.
He
the
has
makeup.
like a clown makeup going on, but
really.
I
think that's meant to throw us off. I think it's meant to make us believe that Joker's involved, because it's very blunt with the white, like you said, the white makeup, and even their lipstick. It's like they're forming smiles, and it's like, it's like
a little too on the nose.
One dude has a spades like painted on his forehead, like the card, like so it's like, they could be something else, and I think most likely they are going to be something else. He wouldn't. Yeah. You don't do Joker in your first movie, so it's like.
Especially because Matt Reeves came out and said that there will be no Joker in this.
Good, yeah.
As far as I know,
he's a main event, so
yeah,
I can't wait for it. Yeah, year 2 Batman. He looks great. He moves great. The tone is there. Just as long as he's not killing people, I'm all for it. He should be crippling them. Like,
Yeah.
you know, he should be pulling a Daredevil. He shouldn't be, you know, the fact that he, whatever. I mean, I didn't like that he was, on a murderous rampage in BVS.
In BVS,
So as long as you don't do that, but Matt Reeves clearly understands the character, so he's not going to be doing that. Full faith. I can't wait to wait. In fact, this trailer made me want to go back and rewatch the Apes movies. Like, it just, because it's that same color palette, it's the same tone. It's like, I just want to go back and rewatch those and just be even more hyped.
Yeah.
So, yeah, on that note, I mean, I think we probably went longer than the initial, like, last night.
Probably no. We're like barely a little over 2 hours, but this
okay,
is
good.
just perfect.
Good. Yeah.
That's perfect.
Keep it at a nice 2 hours. Make sure the audio sounds good.
Oh yeah, it will.
Upload this immediately with all the right hashtags.
Yeah.
Even are we able to do things on SoundCloud, or we need to have some cred before we upload?
No, we could do things on SoundCloud.
Okay. Or sorry, not SoundCloud. What's that shit called? No, it is SoundCloud, right?
Yeah.
Spotify. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, Spotify? Shit, I don't think so.
No, we need to be like legit for Spotify, right?
Well, not legit, but it's different to get podcasts up there.
Yeah, let's stick with Spotify. Let's do Spotify.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you made it to the end of this, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, hey, as long as we're having fun, we're gonna keep doing it.
Yeah,
so,
honestly, and
regardless of listeners or whatnot. Oh, my legs fell asleep.
My leg.
But yeah, I don't know. Closing thoughts.
Honestly, there's no better way to end it on besides
Good job,
what we
fandom.
already said.
Good job, fandom. Your show was a success. It's got everyone talking for the next week. So
Pretty not just the next week, but just for however long until the next announcement.
Mm.
And I personally hope that fandom stays as an annual thing as opposed to Comic-Con, because you get to have like a freedom of what you get to announce. Because like I said last night, Comic-Con, you're really limiting what you can announce
to the panel format.
Yeah.
This is true. Yeah. On that note,
that's pretty much about it.
Yeah. Later.
Yeah. See ya.
My foot legit fell asleep.